Ripple and XRP replacing the SWIFT network entirely? It's a hot topic in the XRP community. Some believe mass adoption will only happen when SWIFT is no more. But is that really the future we're heading toward? In today's video, I'm diving into this debate to give you a clearer picture, because honestly, many people don't fully grasp where Ripple and XRP truly fit within the global financial system. Here's the deal. To understand if Ripple and XRP could ever replace SWIFT, or if they're better suited as partners, you need to know where they sit in the grand settlement structure. That's exactly what I'll be breaking down for you. Are we looking at a total takeover, or a collaboration between two financial giants? By the end of this video, you'll have a much better understanding of how the financial system operates today and the unique role Ripple and XRP play within it. Don't miss out. This is your chance to level up your knowledge and see the bigger picture of what's really possible. One of the most common discussions in the XRP community is the idea that Ripple and XRP will one day replace the SWIFT network entirely. It's a bold claim, and while I think there's some truth to it, the reality is far more nuanced. Yes, the way we move money globally is set to change drastically, and the traditional SWIFT system may become less dominant over time, but many don't fully grasp what that really entails. Personally, I don't believe Ripple and XRP will completely disrupt or replace SWIFT. Instead, I see them as a critical piece of the puzzle, complementing and enhancing the current system, rather than dismantling it altogether. Let me explain. Here's the thing. Large financial institutions and corporations don't move quickly. Change, no matter how beneficial, is often met with resistance. I've worked at a Fortune 500 company, and even something as minor as switching video conferencing apps felt like a monumental task. Now imagine asking these institutions to overhaul the entire way they move money around the world. That's not going to happen overnight. So while Ripple and XRP have the potential to transform global payments, their role will likely be more about integration than elimination, at least for now. When global financial institutions move money, they're not obsessing over the mechanics of how it gets from A to B. They're simply plugging into SWIFT, the system they've relied on forever. The challenge? Getting them to consider plugging into something new. They don't want to overhaul how they operate. They just want SWIFT to work better. Faster transfers, lower fees, no more 3 to 5 day waits. Here's the catch. SWIFT isn't actually a settlement platform. It's a messaging system. It doesn't move money. It sends instructions between banks, leaving the actual settlement process in the hands of the banks themselves. SWIFT is like a middleman passing notes, with no real control over the money's movement. Yet, these institutions stick with SWIFT because it's what they know. It's familiar. But the reality is, the delays and fees they hate, that's baked into the system, and it's entirely beyond SWIFT's control. That's the big picture we need to start with. So, what got me thinking about Ripple, XRP, and SWIFT today? It all started with an intriguing article I came across earlier. It grabbed my attention instantly, probably because it's a topic I've seen pop up so many times before. The headline, XRP overtakes SWIFT in the BIS Cross-Border Payments Task Force. Sounds huge, right? Naturally, I clicked. As I read through the piece, I found myself questioning the details. It's always tricky with articles like this. You really have to dig to figure out what's solid and what's just noise. My advice? Stay sharp and skeptical. You never really know who's behind these stories or how credible they are. There's some really fascinating stuff here about how the BIS is taking a closer look at Ripple, especially because of their work with CBDCs. Ripple's ability to enable instant settlement and its advanced feature set, far beyond what the SWIFT network offers, has clearly caught their attention. But honestly, the article itself isn't what grabbed me. What really got my gears turning is this: how few people truly understand the system that's being built, and how Ripple and XRP fit into it. A lot of folks focus on XRP disrupting the SWIFT network, but I don't think that's the real story. The disruption runs deeper. Let me share a powerful quote from David Schwartz. XRP is an asset that can be used for settlement. It's kind of like gold that can be instantly teleported around the world. It does actually move the value. There's nothing to settle afterward. Think about that for a second. What Schwartz is saying highlights a fundamental difference between XRP and SWIFT. XRP isn't just a messaging tool, it's a settlement token. When I send someone XRP, that value instantly leaves my account and becomes theirs. Done. Complete. Compare that to SWIFT, which is really just a promise. A SWIFT message might tell you the assets are on their way, but the actual settlement? That's still up in the air. The current system for moving money relies on the outdated correspondent banking network, slow, tedious, packed with middlemen, and burdened by high fees. Imagine this. I send you a SWIFT message, but alongside it I include XRP to instantly settle the payment. Now that's a game changer. You still get your familiar SWIFT payment message, but now it comes with instant settlement via XRP. So, who gets cut out in this scenario? Surprisingly, it's not SWIFT. The real losers here are the correspondent banks, the ones who monopolize and control the flow of money. SWIFT isn't the one actually moving funds. Their focus is on messaging, and frankly, SWIFT probably wouldn't mind faster payments. Why? Because when delays happen, they're the ones catching heat from frustrated users asking, "Where's my money?" The irony is, SWIFT has little visibility into these delays because they rely on a web of banks to physically move the money. If XRP could speed up settlement, it would ease the pressure on SWIFT while disrupting the traditional banking monopoly. Faster back-end processes mean fewer headaches for SWIFT and happier users on the front end. It's a win-win, except for the correspondent banks. Let's talk about a major issue in the payment stack and why Ripple is such a game changer here. Seriously, this is where things get really exciting. So, where exactly does Ripple fit into the payment stack? Picture this, and forgive the rough mental image. Ripple sits right at the bottom. Above it, you've got the traditional settlement players like SWIFT and ACH. These systems aren't actually handling the settlement. They're just sitting on top of Ripple and XRP, which are doing the real heavy lifting. Ripple and XRP act as the engine of the payment stack, the clearinghouse that makes transactions happen and moves value seamlessly. Here's the big idea. Ripple isn't trying to overthrow SWIFT. Instead, it's giving SWIFT and similar systems a whole new way to function. Ripple enables money to move across the globe instantly with full clearance and settlement. The cool part? Whatever fancy front-end systems, like SWIFT messaging apps, ACH, Zelle, or Venmo, you want to stack on top, it all works beautifully. All the flashy apps and platforms out there are great, but let's not forget, at the core of it all, you need solid clearing and settlement systems. That's where Ripple comes in. They're not trying to replace SWIFT entirely. In fact, some of their applications might seem competitive, but their real target is the outdated correspondent banking system. These big banks dominate global money movement, and while that dominance isn't inherently bad, the inefficiency is. Why does it still take 3 to 5 days to move money when XRP can do it in just 3 seconds? Here's the key. It's all about reinventing the plumbing of how money flows. Your Venmo, Swifts, and Zelles, they're not going anywhere because they're just the surface layer, the front end shuffling debits and credits. But the actual money movement on the back end, that's where Ripple is shaking things up. They're going after the rails, aiming to completely revolutionize how value is settled and cleared. Because let's face it, the current correspondent banking process is stuck in the past. This shift has been in plain sight all along. It's not just about competition, it's about innovation at the foundation of the global financial system. And to drive this home, let's take a look at a SWIFT representative discussing these changes. The hints have always been there, staring us in the face. It's been crystal clear for a long time where this is all heading, yet so many people seem to miss the bigger picture. They've been steering us down this path for years, but now, it couldn't be more obvious. Here's the deal. XRP is about settlement. SWIFT is about messaging. The real disruption we're witnessing in the financial system isn't about messaging, flashy UI apps, or new ways to split bills with friends. That stuff is convenient, sure, but it's not game-changing. Paying a friend back for a beer at the bar, no one's losing sleep over how that works. We've got that figured out. The real challenge lies deeper, at the heart of financial infrastructure. It's about settlement, cross-border transactions, clearing money, switching and moving assets, liquidity between currencies, all of it. Imagine going from one asset to another, withdrawing funds, and completing the entire process in seconds. Right now, that takes 3 to 4 days. This is where XRP is rewriting the rules. Instant clearing, instant settlement, transactions happening at the speed of light, transforming the back-end systems that truly matter. Let's talk about the crypto conversation around replacing SWIFT. It's not about eliminating SWIFT, but complementing it. Here's what you need to know. Oh, and by the way, I used to work for SWIFT. I spent 20 years with SWIFT, so you could say it's in my blood. SWIFT has long been the backbone of financial messaging, handling payments, FX, trade, securities, and more. It's a system built around store and forward messaging, with service-level agreements ensuring payments are processed and delivered within specific timeframes. But enter crypto, and the game changes. Unlike SWIFT's traditional approach, new crypto networks bring instant real-time fund transfers with complete visibility. No more waiting days to confirm if funds have arrived or chasing down query messages. These systems eliminate the guesswork, offering a seamless, real-time flow that redefines how we think about moving money across the globe. There's no competition here. Ripple isn't replacing SWIFT. Instead, It's a complementary network designed for institutions that need real-time transactions. Interestingly, SWIFT is also upgrading its capabilities to enable real-time functionality. But here's the exciting part. We might see Ripple's XRP being used as a currency within the SWIFT network itself. That's right, Ripple and SWIFT working together. They've made it clear. This is about collaboration, not competition. Together, they're building a new system that bypasses traditional correspondent banks. It's an exciting step toward a more efficient future. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you found this update insightful.